It was a touching scene inside American Airlines Center on Monday when Trevor Strader, son of late Dallas Stars play-by-play man Dave Strader, performed the national anthem before their game against the Winnipeg Jets. The hockey world lost Dave Strader on October 1 after he passed away following a long battle with cholangiocarcinoma, a rare form of bile duct cancer. While he was diagnosed in June 2016, he managed to work 5 Stars games last season as well as a few during the Stanley Cup playoffs. Stars announcer Dave Strader dies at 62. This is the second straight year Trevor has performed during the team's Hockey Fights Cancer Night. The lavender warm-up jerseys players wore during warm-ups will be auctioned off with proceeds, along with those from a $5,050 raffle, benefiting charity, including the Cholangiocarcinoma Foundation. Strader's voice is missed not only in Dallas, but all around the hockey world. Next week he'll be honored during the Hockey Hall of Fame induction ceremony in Toronto as winner of the 2017 Foster Hewitt Memorial Award, which is given to members of the radio and television industry who make outstanding contributions to their profession and the game of ice hockey during their broadcasting career. People who I've never met before have talked to me for 20 minutes about not only what an incredible broadcaster he was, but how all he talked about was his kids, Trevor Strader told Sean Shapiro of NHL.com. Which I knew he was proud of us, so knowing we were always on the front of his mind, even at his job. He was always a dad and a husband first and then did his job. There has just been amazing support from so many people. Sean Leahy is a writer for Pro Hockey Talk on NBC Sports. Drop him a line at pitblog@nbcsports.com or follow him on Twitter at Sean Leahy. Player of the night Blake Wheeler, Winnipeg Jets. The Jets beat the Dallas Stars for the second time in less than a week with a 41 win on Monday. The captain was involved in all 4 goals, with 4 primary assists, 2 of which came on tallies from Mark Scheifele. Wheeler is now 3rd in the NHL with 21 points. Highlight of the night: the rock-paper-scissors battle between Scheifele and Tyler Seguin continued. Patrick Lane has goals in 3 straight games since he talked about his confidence issues. Well done by Trevor Strader on Hockey Fights Cancer Night in Dallas. John Carlson's second career overtime goal helped give the Washington Capitals a 32 win over the Arizona Coyotes. Clayton Keller scored his NHL rookie-leading 11th goal of the year for the Coyotes. Alex Ovechkin netted his 216th career power play goal. He's now one behind Jaromir Jagr and Mike Gartner for 10th all-time. Mika Zibanejad handed out 3 assists as the New York Rangers fought back from deficits of 20 and 32 to beat the Columbus Blue Jackets 53. All 3 of Zibanejad's helpers came on the power play, where the Rangers scored on 3 of their 5 chances. 5 different goal scorers powered the Boston Bruins' a 53 win over the Minnesota Wild. Jordan Szwarz recorded 2 assists, his first NHL points since March 26, 2015. Mitch Marner scored the only goal in the shootout as the Toronto Maple Leafs prevented a Vegas Golden Knights comeback with a 43 victory. Nazem Kadri scored a pair of goals in the opening period. Tomas Tatar's goal with 114 remaining snapped a 22 tie and helped the Detroit Red Wings to a 32 win over the Vancouver Canucks. The goal was Tatar's 200th career point. Kristanov is going to want to forget this one. Thanks to Anthony Mantha, Daniel Sutton's goal was the 992nd point of his career. Factoid of the night: NHL Jets Connor Hellebuck last 5 games versus Stars 500 record 1.60 GAA .951 save percent. Sportsnet stats at SN Stats November 7, 2017 scores: Toronto 4, Vegas 3, So New York Rangers 5, Columbus 3, Washington 3, Arizona 2, OT Boston 5, Minnesota 3, Winnipeg 4, Dallas 1, Detroit 3, Vancouver 2. Sean Leahy is a writer for Pro Hockey Talk on NBC Sports. Drop him a line at pitblog@nbcsports.com or follow him on Twitter at Sean Leahy. Aside from not messing up Connor McDavid, the Edmonton Oilers haven't inspired a lot of confidence in how they handle young forwards. It's not just about getting questionable returns for high picks like Taylor Hall, Nail Yakupov, and Jordan Eberle. There have been some bumpy development paths, and some of those wounds are self-inflicted, as management has a shaky track record of burning through rookie years in ways that are often wasteful. Jesse Puljujarvi isn't the only example one could reach for, but he's the most recent. Puljujarvi finds himself below the NHL level at the moment, which isn't a big deal. He's still just 19, yet he already burned through the first year of his entry-level contract in $201,617 by playing 28 games. Considering the Oilers' recent history of paying huge premiums for second contracts, McDavid and Leon Draisaitl raising the already high bar that was $6 million going to guys like Hall and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, that situation might make some a little queasy. Then again, perhaps they'll get their act together going forward. Monday presented some reason for optimism, as the Oilers showed a rare bit of restraint for the minute signing Kailer Yamamoto to the WHL. They did so while preserving the high-value ELC years of his rookie deal, as they made this call before he exceeded the 9-game mark this season. This is usually simple stuff for NHL teams, but Edmonton bungles this often enough that it's worth celebrating. Goodbye Moto. This makes for quite the whirlwind few months for the 19-year-old. It's common to see high draft picks make an immediate jump to the NHL, and for guys hovering around the top 10 to at least get a cup of coffee. Yamamoto, however, was the 22nd pick of the 2017 NHL draft. It's rare to see guys in that range demand a long, thick, immediate look, and so far it looks like the Oilers got a steal in the undersized forward. He forced his way into some prominent situations, too. While his ice time and opportunities were erratic, it's worth noting that, per Natural Stat Trick, his most common even-strength line mates were Connor McDavid and Patrick Maroon. Yamamoto didn't look out of place in his audition on that first line, providing a silver lining while Leon Draisaitl, another forward who burned through his rookie deal faster than maybe necessary, was injured. Somewhat amusingly, Yamamoto might have actually made one of the better arguments to stay up, as his possession numbers and production indicated that he's a quick study. In the long run, this is a better move for the Oilers, especially since McDavid's Rays won't kick in until $201,819. They'll need to find bargains going forward, so getting the most out of Yamamoto's cheap rookie contract could be absolutely crucial. 3. From a contractual perspective, the Oilers can look forward to 3 very cheap years ahead. W-22s. Not getting tons of bonuses. 33. Jonathan Willis. At Jonathan Willis, November 6, 2017. Now, 3 full years of Yamamoto as he really kicks into gear could drive up the price of his second contract, too. Worry about that when you get there. That's practically the Oilers' developmental model anyway, right? Panthers send Big Red down. Owen Tippett drew some attention in getting a look with the Florida Panthers, in part by comparing himself to rookie Phil Kessel. Tippett won't be making that jump, as the Panthers demoted him today. He didn't get a huge chance, generating a goal in 7 games while only averaging 11.07 toy per night. At least Tippett fired away relative to spotty ice time. 17 Sagan 7 contests isn't bad in sparse minutes. The kid still seems confident. This situation is a lot clearer for the Panthers than it was for the Oilers, but either way, both teams probably made the right calls. James O'Brien is a writer for Pro Hockey Talk on NBC Sports. Drop him a line at pitblog@nbcsports.com or follow him on Twitter at CycleLikeSettings. Fans of the Pittsburgh Penguins, Columbus Blue Jackets, Carolina Hurricanes, and other teams must feel a little left out after this weekend. While those GMs either were afraid to pay the sticker price or weren't in the conversation, the bottom line is that the Ottawa Senators got Matt Duchene, the Nashville Predators added Kyle Turris, and the Colorado Avalanche's future looks brighter. Breaking down blockbuster Matt Duchene, Kyle Turris trade. So, what's next for teams hoping to add that missing piece? As Blue Jackets GM Jarmo Kekalainen told Aaron Portzline of The Athletic, sub-required, some stuff will always come up. With that in mind, let's consider some of the best trade targets post-Duchene. For the sake of brevity, we'll stick to forwards. Maybe there will be a time to discuss the Keith Yandles of the world some other day. The likelihood of possible moves varies, and will likely change dramatically as the season goes along. Note as usual, Cap-Friendly was a glorious resource for this. Mandatory, especially unrealistic mentions John Tavares. Even if they're more worried about letting him go than they're letting on, it's very difficult to picture New York Islanders GM Garth Snow actually trading the face of the franchise and a guy who is, during the bleakest moments, the only bright side to look on. Still, I'd have to turn in my blogger's badge if I didn't at least mention Tavares, because a team would offer up its vital organs if JT actually did go on the market. The Sedin twins are unlikely as well, though in wildly different ways. Throw Joe Thornton here, too. A bucket of Golden Knights. Even if the Vegas Golden Knights remain competitive heading into the trade deadline, GM George McPhee could be forgiven if he jumps on a good offer. It's possible they can have their cake and eat it too, really. James Neal. You can go in circles talking about the negatives. He's 30, can sometimes go invisible for a while, takes bad frustration penalties, but getting a big, prime-age sniper could be huge for a contending team. If Vegas decides he's not a part of the future, why not sell high? David Perron. A lot like Neal, they even both had stints with the Penguins, except the lower ceiling, 1 year younger, and a smaller cap hit. His slick mitts give him the potential to be a game breaker if a team doesn't ask for too much. Jonathan Marchessault, the 26-year-old, carries just a $750,000 cap hit. And he's at a fascinating fork in the road for his career. Vegas might want to keep him, but what kind of raise is coming, and what if a contender tight against the cap presents a war chest of assets for him, considering that cheap $201,718 mark lightning round Alex Galchenyuk free Alex Ryan Nugent-Hopkins could the latest $6 million Oilers forward be gone? Jesse Puljujärvi would Peter Chiarelli and the Oilers really cut ties with another high draft pick Patrick Maroon, Ryan Strome, two guys on expiring contracts? Bargain hunting GMs might as well keep Gia on their speed dial, right? Phil Kesselhoff. It's irksome to mention, but it feels required. There's at least some merit to the murmurs. Rick Nash. See more on how Nash could fit into a Rangers rebuild here. Nash is tantalizing, but the Rangers would need to find a way to make things work for a trade partner considering his Nash-sized cap hit. Evander Kane has his issues, but he's a power forward in his prime, and a 26-year-old seems like he's playing at a high level. Manageable cap hit at $5.25 million, especially since the trade deadline tends to make guys like him easier to get under the ceiling. Gabriel Landeskog. Tough to imagine the Avalanche making such bold moves in succession, but then again, why not at least gauge the market with 4 years remaining at about $5.57 million per? It would require a major undertaking. What if Sakic offered to take, say, Ryan Callahan's problem deal on for Landeskog in exchange for a boatload of assets? Just saying. Sakic's patience pays off in Duchesne trade. Gustav Nyquist. Various Red Wings gotta pull off the rebuild band-aid sometime, right? Maybe Tyler Bozak, James Van Riemsdyk, two affordable Maple Leafs forwards who are likely to get lost in the shuffle when Auston Matthews burned through their rookie deals. JVR is a chronically underrated winger. Patrick Hornqvist, the scorer of the 2017 Stanley Cup clinching goal, is an old 30 considering all of his battles in front of the net. Maybe he'd go the other way if the Penguins wanted to make a move or a series of moves. Tomas Plekanec, Thomas Vanek, etc. There are a handful of aging, reasonably useful forwards on expiring deals. Imagine them all listed here. Check cap friendly for even more options. That's quite the list, and some of those players are even worth trading for. Maybe Blue Jackets and Hurricanes fans can daydream about better days, too. Feel free to add any names you believe are missing in the comments, emails, or via Twitter. You can even embrace the freedom to be more out there than the idea of trading Tavares. Have fun. James O'Brien is a writer for Pro Hockey Talk on NBC Sports. Drop him a line at pitblog@nbcsports.com or follow him on Twitter at CycleLikeSettings. In a sprawling interview with The Athletic's Pierre LeBrun sub required, former Los Angeles Kings GM Dean Lombardi notes that he predicted a hot start for his old team. Few others saw a 10-22 start coming for an aging roster that missed the playoffs in 2 of the last 3 seasons, and HASNT won a playoff round since their 2014 Stanley Cup run. This post takes a look at 1. The factors playing into such a hot start, and 2. What might continue versus what should change. Stars reborn. Most obviously, Jonathan Quick has been healthy, and he's been absolutely brilliant. With a blistering .939 save percentage through 11 games, the American-born goalie is matching great numbers to his considerable athleticism in a way that he hasn't always been able to manage during his polarizing career. Mainstream types sometimes overrated Quick, while analytics-minded folks might have gone to excessive extremes to refute such praise over the years. With all that was going on for the Kings, it's easy for some to forget that Quick only appeared in 17 games last season. If healthy, Quick is a difference maker, but he's almost certain to slip from his lofty perch. His career save percentage is .916, and he's come in that range for the past 4 seasons. Much has already been made about the resurgence of Dustin Brown, as you can see here and here. Chances are, a lot of his success will be tied to whether or not he can stick with the revitalized Anze Kopitar on the Kings' top line. Expect some of the Kings' top scorers to slip, at least to an extent, as Kopitar 18.9 and Brown 13.3 are shooting at a higher percentage than they have in some time. The drop-off may only be extreme for Adrian Kemp, though, as he's connected on a third of his shots on goal so far. The most fascinating transformation may be for Drew Doughty. For years, Doughty's all-around work has made him one of the go-to examples for a player who's better in reality than fantasy. So far, Doughty has 10 points in 14 games, putting him in a position to match or exceed his career high of 59 points. Doughty's 6.8 shooting percentage is right in line with his career average of 6.3, so maybe we'll see him put up the box score numbers he's often lacked. The future. Okay, so let's consider team-wide elements of this Kings run. Not your older brother's Kings. Looking at team-based possession stats from Natural Stat Trick, the Kings may not be the puck-dominant squad under John Stevens that they once were under Daryl Sutter. After leading the pack for years in stats like Corsi for percentage, sometimes by significant margins, they are currently in the middle of the pack. It will be fascinating to see if this carries through 82 regular season games, and if this ends up being all by design to increase high-danger chances at the expense of volume. Some luck, no doubt. As you might expect with a team exceeding expectations, the Kings are getting a lot of bounces in their favor. Their PDO, a team's shooting percentage plus save percentage, which is a leading indicator of luck, is 102.3 at even strength according to Natural Stat Trick, putting them high among the NHL's ranks. While their shooting percentage should come down, it's the work of quick in net that will be the toughest to keep going. Not all negative. One bright spot for the Kings is that they're on this roll with Jeff Carter either limited or out of the lineup altogether. Carter is coming off a magnificent 32-goal, 66-point season, which marked a third consecutive year where he generated 60 points for LA so far. He had 3 assists and 0 goals in 6 games. With Carter turning 33 on New Year's Day, there is some concern that he may finally be hitting the wall many snipers splat into. Still, even if he might dip a bit, you could reasonably expect that Carter might help ease some of the regression if the bounces stop going the Kings' way. Perhaps low shooting percentage guys like intriguing youngster Alex Iafallo and solid winger Tanner Pearson may heat up during times when things aren't going so smoothly for Kopitar. One thing people often forget is that, even in the best of times, the Sutter-Lombardi Kings rarely did things the easy way. Putting Sutter on the bench saved the Kings' season in 201,112, and LA was ranked third in its division during both of his championship runs. This franchise hasn't won a division since it was labeled Smythe. The greatest value in starting 10-22 might be the simplest. Those wins and standings points are already in the bank. Theoretically, the Kings could be run-of-the-mill for long stretches and still enjoy one of their best regular seasons in memory. Such a stretch might allow the Kings to rest their aging core players like Kopitar, Brown, Quick, and Doughty if in a rare event they don't need to scratch and claw just to clinch a playoff berth. Actually, the real fun could also come during the trade deadline. Will GM Rob Blake push the right buttons with a team whose ceiling is still difficult to measure overall? The Kings are playing over their heads, but maybe not enough to soothe their haters. James O'Brien is a writer for Pro Hockey Talk on NBC Sports. Drop him a line at pitblog@nbcsports.com or follow him on Twitter at CycleLikeSettings.